What's up, bass heads? We're back. Image Design Audio. We gonna talk about sealed versus ported enclosures. So first we're gonna talk about the differences, what they both do, pros and cons. So sealed enclosure, most people would say sound better than a ported. So a sealed enclosure, you only get the front wave coming out of the front of the subwoofer. That's one good part about it, is some of the times it sounds better if it's in the right box. With a ported, you get the back wave and the front wave. Coming out of the port, you get the back wave of the subwoofer, so you get more sound, loudness, with less power. So basically, with a ported, let's say you're running 1,000 watts, a ported box versus on the same amp, same speakers, whatever, a ported box will be twice as loud than the sealed box. But sealed boxes will give you more of a flat range of all frequencies when the bass hit, from 80 to 100 or whatever. But a port is designed to give you a boost at the tuning that it's tuned to. So if it's tuned to 35 hertz, when the bass line hits in the music, 35 hertz is gonna be louder than anything in a ported box. In a sealed box, it's all gonna pretty much sound the same depending on the mix. You're not gonna get that extra boost. It's just gonna stay flat as far as loudness, volume, or whatever. A ported box is more boomy than a sealed box. A sealed box can be tighter, but I've also heard sealed boxes that can be a little more boomy. Those are when you got somebody, a custom box that's designed specifically for that sub, and some box builders that are really good will go maybe a few inches above the specs. Say if it's like supposed to be 24 inches going back, they might do 26 inches or 27. Or instead of 1 cube feet, 2 cubes, they might do 2.5 cubes, which might give you that more booming on the low end. But that's pretty much some of the differences between sealed and ported. Now, I like sealed a little better than ported, but I like the best of both worlds. So I run a fourth order, which is a sealed box on one side and a port on the other side. Woo, it sounds good. You can't beat a fourth order. I'm sorry, they sound the best. I've heard that the horns sound better or just as good, maybe by MB Enclosures. I haven't heard one personally yet, but yeah, those are pretty much the differences between sealed and ported. And ported is going to take less power. Sealed is going to take more power. Oh, one of the things I don't want to forget is a sealed box, your subs are going to last longer because they're not going to move as much on the same power. They're going to give out, but they're not going to reach excursion. With a ported, you're going to reach excursion when you're not hitting the tune frequency. So if your tune frequency, once again, is 35, when you hit between 35 and let's see 55 on the high part, maybe 25 on the low part, your sub is going to start moving more. The more you get closer to the tuning frequency, your sub is going to move less. So ported can damage your subs if you're not tuning your crossover right. You want to tune, if you're tuned to 35, your port, you want to tune your crossover to 30. So you don't get a lot of those other frequencies will come in lower, at a lower volume than coming from the amplifier. Because, like I say, your port's going to do what the amplifier tells it to do too. That's part of it. But you want to set that tuning on your low pass filter to match your port tuning. And that'll save your sub from moving so much. So yeah, with sealed, it gets harder to blow a sub with sealed. Unless you're pushing a whole lot more power. Sealed will take a whole lot more power. Like with a sealed, if I want to get loud as the dude with the ported box, and we're on the same amp and on the same subs, same specs, I'm most likely going to have to double the wattage. You know, and that's what I like to do. I like the sound. Some people say it's preference, some don't. Sealed does sound better. That's why when you go to SQ audio competitions versus SPL, they run all sealed, because sealed does sound better. But if you're one of those guys that want to get loud, you need to go with the port. If you don't care about losing clarity in the sound, then go with the ported. That's what you want to do. But yeah, like I said, I like sealed. So those are the pros and cons. Like I said, sealed, you're gonna have to run more power. Then you got certain subs that are built for either sealed or built for ported. Most of the time, subwoofers that have more excursion are usually built for a ported box. They're X-Max. They have high X-Max, and they have big cones on the front. Yeah, that's usually built for ported. And one thing to do some research on your subs. Now, I've learned, took it upon myself, learned from others. You know, some companies lie, say, oh, this can run good in ported or sealed. Yes, it could run in both, but some of them do better in sealed. Like I've heard the Kicker L7s. I heard them in ported and I heard them in the sealed. They sound better, way better in the sealed. Now, this is one difference a lot of people probably won't agree with me, is if you're running double the power than another guy on a sealed, the way that sealed is built, you sound louder at a distance than louder close up in the sealed. That's the effect that I've heard. Now, other people might disagree. I don't care. But I've been in the car audio since I was 18. I'm 46, so that's a long time. That's a long time. I've been around. I've heard a lot. And a lot of seals. Like if you hear dudes that got SQ, you know, sound quality, and they're running sealed, a lot of dudes have been doing this for years and been around for years and know by ear and by even reading. We just know, we've been in the streets for a long time. Usually the guy with the sealed box, you stand right next to his car and it's not that loud, but you start walking away and you hear him. You hear him, which is weird. Not saying you can't do that with a ported box, but a lot of time those sealed boxes are louder when you walk away, not standing up on them. And that depends on frequency too. Because you know, sealed boxes, not tuned, they could hit low too. So don't believe the hype people tell you, oh, you got a sealed box that can't hit low. Yeah, sealed box can hit low. It depends on what you playing in the song and how low your low pass filter goes. Because he don't have the tuning, but he could set his low pass filter low. If you could set the low pass low, or you could boost in the EQ in maybe 20 hertz or above 25, 30, whatever you want to say, he could get low. And a lot of times can get as low without damaging the speaker all day long. So that's just some info, you guys. Q&A on sealed boxes versus ported boxes. There's other boxes out there too. We'll get into that in the next videos. You got 4th orders, you got 6th orders, you know, you got horns. Horns is a whole nother thing, which makes sense. They get even louder. Sometimes they can get even lower on the low end. You get maybe a 2 more dB boost than a ported box, but now you got to go custom. But you know, you guys, that's another video. This was just on sealed versus ported. Decide what you want. What's best for you. I'm not here to say, oh, ported's better than sealed or sealed's better than ported. That depends on what you're trying to do. Basically, in a nutshell, if you just want to sound good and you want it to stay in the car and you don't want a lot of power and you want to sound good and you ain't trying to be super loud, go with the sealed. If you're trying to be super loud and you want everybody to hear you and you want your car to rattle, go with the ported. That's another thing that I like about sealed. I get less rattle out of the car than the port. When I run all port, because I got 2 boxes, when I run all port, it vibrates the hell out of my car. I don't care what frequency I'm playing, and I don't want to hear my car vibrate. I want to hear the bass. But when I run my sealed, I don't get all that vibration. A whole lot less vibration. But running the port, I get all that vibration. It ain't even turned up yet. And it's not wrong with my car. That's just what it is when you're dealing with ported. So it's up to you guys. Decide what you want. I'm just telling you the differences. And this is Image Design Audio, and we out.